Hello, welcome back to NPC Stories! This week we are back to the normal routine of things, talking about law keepers and law breakers. Parties typically encounter law keepers for two reasons. Either they are seeking justice and need the law's aid, or they have found themselves somehow on the other side of it. As far as law breakers, sometimes a party stumbles upon them on accident. Sometimes they are seeking them out because they need a specific resource that only a few crooked folks can acquire. And sometimes they find themselves a victim of a lawbreaker's scheme. In which case, they might need to seek justice from the law keepers. This week I have two law keepers and two law breakers for you because we want to keep everything nice and even. One thing you should know before I get started is that the city I pulled these law keepers from heavily integrate their religion into their politics. So they worship sister goddesses of light and darkness. The Silver Guard watches the city during the day, and the Black Guard watches the city at night. They each kind of function in a different way, and you'll notice that their attitudes and behavior typically reflect their leaders, who I'm going to talk about. Ebony Havensnarl, also known as Lady Black, is the head of the Black Guard. She was born Ellie Havensnarl, and her father was a merchant who sold dark magic items. As she was often not allowed in the house during his business deals, she developed a strong friendship with a girl named Lucrece, who would run the streets and play fight with her. When her father was arrested, she met the previous Lady Black and was so impressed by her that she decided that she would be the next. This caused a rift to grow between her and her best friend Lucrece, who viewed the Black Guard as overly strict and sometimes cruel. Ellie abandoned the concept of friendship and changed her name to Ebony in order to disassociate herself from her father. She dedicated herself to becoming a skilled warrior and trained hard to stand out amongst her peers. She did whatever was necessary within the bounds of the law to gain her position. Ebony is short and slight, commanding attention with her demeanor rather than her build. She has brown eyes and black hair, though no one except Lucrece remembers if that's the color she was truly born with. She is pale as she spends most of her awake time at night, and it is emphasized even further by her black half-plate armor. She carries a glaive, longsword, and shield as all Lady Blacks have, but prefers to use the glaive and has learned some magic to help amplify her combat prowess. Ebony believes the law is the law and no one is above it, below it, or exempt from it, no matter the circumstances. The Black Guard and Ebony are considered incorruptible, and it is said that their eyes can peer into your soul and see your darkest secrets. While this is not true, each member of the Black Guard is given dark vision before they take their watch. Lucrece Caelestius, also known as Lady Silver, is head of the Silver Guard. She was born into the middle class as the eldest sister of three brothers, but refused to take on the matronly role. She much preferred to run the streets and mock fight with her best friend Ellie. However, their friendship ended when Ellie changed her name to Ebony and dedicated herself to the Black Guard. Hurt and confused, but also concerned for her friend's well-being, Lucrece joined the Silver Guard in order to keep an eye on her. Her natural talent and practice in her youth, however untrained, helped her to excel, and she found herself on the path to becoming Lady Silver. Much to Ebony's dismay, Lucrece became Lady Silver before she became Lady Black, and set a record as the youngest Lady Silver to date. Lucrece is average height and has a boyish figure. Her eyes are blue, and her hair turned platinum silver when she took up her oath. Her fair complexion never seems to tan despite her time in the sun, and she seems to glow in silver half-plate armor. She also wields a glaive, longsword, and shield like all Lady Silvers have before her, but prefers to use the shield and longsword. She never caught on to battle magic, preferring to study strategy and techniques that can give her a step up on her opponent in a fight. Lucrece takes her job seriously but believes in doing good above all else. She is well liked for her mercy and easygoing nature, but that does not mean she will let true evil go unchecked. Lucrece has an ongoing, complex relationship with the leader of the Thieves Guild. She became romantically involved with him before realizing who he was, and by the time the truth came out, she had fallen for him. They keep their relationship a secret for both of their sakes, but feed each other information as long as it does not betray their other loyalties. For example, he will turn over the identity of an ungilded criminal or of a guild member who did something without his approval, and she might look the other way if no true harm was caused by one of his guild members. Nico Shadowbender is the leader of the Thieves Guild in this city. Nico was the best friend and right-hand man of the previous guild leaders. When his friend decided to retire to a small village to raise his family, he left the guild to Nico, sticking around just long enough to ensure that the transition went smoothly. Nico is a shorter man, lean and light on his feet. He is average-looking with brown hair and green eyes that help him blend into any crowd. He wears studded leather armor and wields a club if he is forced to fight. He is not particularly fast or strong, but is able to outwit nearly anyone. His specialty is forgery and magical trickery. Nico is an expert at blending in and prefers to scout out newcomers from afar before approaching them. He loves to wrap himself in mystery using deep hooded cloaks, magical disguises, invisibility, and contacting you via voices in your head. When making deals, he believes that payment is always due first and prefers information to gold. He does not take betrayal lightly, and it is well known amongst the guild that whatever the law will do to you is much kinder than whatever Nico will do to you when he finds out. He is loyal to his people, but not above making deals with the law to ensure their safety and betterment. He sought out his relationship with Lucrece for that reason, but has found that he actually enjoys her company. Sometimes he fears he has gotten in over his head with her, and they bicker as often as they don't. But he truly values her, and not just the resource she has proven to be. Lavender Runner is a teenage halfling. She was picked up off the street like many members of the guild and trained in their ways. She was one of the best, and Nico took her on as an apprentice. She admires him like a father and is fierce and loyal to him. She chose the name Lavender because she loved the color, and now that she can afford it, keeps a splash of it in her blonde hair. Despite having had regular meals for the last 5 years, she never seems to put on any weight. She has blue eyes and lightly tanned skin, and has been equipped with leather armor and 2 sickles. Lavender often serves as Nico's face if he hasn't decided whether or not someone is trustworthy. She also serves as his second set of eyes, ears, and hands. She is sharp-witted, which is why Nico likes her, and her wit is accompanied by an equally sharp tongue and blade if you find yourself on her bad side. Lavender seems to be unnaturally lucky at dice games and will happily swindle newcomers out of their money. And there are the law and lawbreakers. I need a gavel. Don't have a gavel. As always, I hope this was somehow helpful or inspiring to you. You can let me know by liking this video. If you want to see more NPCs in the future, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every week, usually around Wednesday or Thursday. And you can also find me on Twitter at NPC Stories. Join me next week as we talk about non-humanoid NPCs.